On the news at 7, Oshibajo extends presidential declaration to Ondo State ahead APC primary election. Experts renew call for malaria-free society as global community marks World Malaria Day. In line with federal government's directives, 4 borders have been reopened. And from the foreign scene, French President Emmanuel Macron returns for a second term.
Good evening and welcome. News at 7. I am Akinwumi Abodunde. Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has urged fervent prayers against the challenges of insecurity, banditry and kidnapping bedeviling the country at a time Nigeria is preparing for the 2023 general elections. At the 2022 breaking of the Ramadan fast, Iftar in Akure, the governor said he is a fervent believer in the efficacy of prayers and reaffirmed his passion to sustain all efforts at making life more bearable for residents of the state. Akeredolu, who appreciated God and the Muslim faithful in the state for supporting his administration, appealed to them to use the rest of the holy month to intercede for the state and its people. Government House correspondent Wahab Ankole completes the story.
Seated here at the International Culture and Event Center, the Dome, in Akure, are Muslim faithful from across the state as they gather for this year's breaking of Ramadan fast, popularly known as Iftar. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu led top government functionaries, political associates, lawmakers, religious leaders, traditional rulers, and the public to the event. Reading from the Holy Quran got the event underway with the chairman of Ondo State Muslim Welfare Board, Zikrullah Chande, highlighting the essence of the gathering and significance of the holy month.
Ramadan is a time when Muslims around the world reflect upon the wisdom and guidance that comes to state and responsibility that human beings have to one another and to God.
Delivering a lecture titled Decision, the Grand Mufti of Ondo State, Sheikh Surajuddin Batuta, harped on the need for proper plans towards a better life. Other Muslim leaders appreciated the governor for changing the narratives of the people through impactful governance.
Mr. Governor, who will be able to our countries are churches. Who will I be able to because people are always so about this. Because they were our
Governor Akeredolu, who described the Ramadan period as a time of sober reflection with a view to drawing people closer to Almighty Allah, appreciated the support of the Muslim faithful for his administration.
I also wish to congratulate our faithful in the state for witnessing this year's Ramadan. It's my prayer that Almighty Allah grant us the privilege to witness many more of Ramadan in life.
The governor, while imploring the clerics and the people to continue to preach against the act of peddling fake news in the country, restated his commitment to a better Ondo State.
we will continue to do what we can do. For the short term at the beginning, we have about 2 years plus. Administration will do everything to attend to the needs and welfare of both Christians and Muslims in the United States. We shall not be distracted from the path in carrying out our duties and responsibility to the people of the social state.
High point of the event was when the governor, in the spirit of the season, pardoned a public servant in the state who was among those who peddled his rumored death. The State Commissioner for Regional Integration and Diaspora Relations, Mrs. Bamidele Ademola Lateju, a Christian, read a verse of the Holy Quran.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, has paid a visit to the Ondo State Governor, Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, in Akure. Professor Oshibajo, who was received at the Akure airport, later addressed a gathering of party faithful at the Koko Conference Hall of the Governor's office. Government House correspondent Wahab Bankole reports that the visit was not unconnected with current political developments in the country.
Very free, lost. We are holy and hospitable people. For those states, the social state is 64. So, the time of campaign, we are saying this will come. Give us a visit, and I estimate this is sort of
most valuable contribution we can make to our communities and to our societies. This opportunity to serve the public, to serve our people. And, the opportunity comes every once in a while. Our country needs service. Our country needs service. We need men and women who can truly serve her. Because that's really what will get our country out of the doldrums and all the problems of experience. President, when he was away, when he was on medical vacation, he said, pointed to me that, look, I don't want to further your discussion in any way, but I'd like to present your president, just make sure that you are fair and just. Don't refer anything to me, don't ask me any questions, just go ahead and do what you need to do.
The Vice President and Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu speaking at the Koko Conference Hall of the Governor's office. You're watching the news at 7 on Osrc television. We'll take a short break now. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
After a fruitful Ramadan day, replenish your body with the right nutrients. Make this your best Ramadan yet. Ramadan Kareem from Hollandia Dairy and Chivita Fruit Juice.
You're watching the news at 7 on Osrc television. You can also watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook OSRC TV Ondo and on YouTube OSRC TV Ondo. A renewed call has been made on the need to urgently scale up innovation and the deployment of new tools in the fight against malaria. At an event to mark this year's World Malaria Day, stakeholders said all hands must be on deck to ensure a malaria-free society. Omoshilola Adesoyajayi reports that the Ondo State Primary Healthcare Development Agency organized a sensitization program on the prevention of malaria.
Malaria remains a significant public health and development challenge as Nigeria, being one of the worst hit countries in Africa, recorded a surge in malaria cases after the outbreak of COVID-19. Little wonder then that this year's celebration is focused on efforts to renew political commitments and encourage continued investment in malaria prevention and control. The Malaria Program Officer of Ondo State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Mrs. Titilope Akinlalu, said pregnant women and children under 5 years are mostly at risk of malaria.
For this year, we are encouraging every pregnant woman to register at the nearest government facility, and there they will be well cared for. And on the other side, we want to encourage that everybody should be tested before treatment, because it is not every sign that we think is malaria that is malaria. It can be COVID-19. But
the state coordinator, World Health Organization, Dr. Dele David, who was represented by Ondo State Technical Assistant on COVID-19 vaccination, Dr. Mahmoud Zubero, noted the need to invest more in malaria control and diagnosis to achieve a malaria-free society.
The ultimate goal is to reduce the number of people catching and dying from malaria. This requires a focus and precise action on research and on leveraging available evidence to ensure that our targeted interventions are efficiently used.
Ondo State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Banji Ajaka, represented by Mrs. Folashade Durojaye, highlighted some of the efforts of the state government at ensuring that people in the state have access to adequate healthcare delivery.
Please intensify the treated men. Our children and our pregnant women must sleep inside the net to prevent mosquito bite. At the same time, whenever they are having malaria symptoms, they must go to the nearest hospital and make sure that they are tested and they are treated appropriately.
Others who spoke at the program emphasized on the need to reignite the momentum and build on the recent advances and innovation, diagnostics, anti-malarias, clean environment, as well as some other tools to speed up the pace of progress against malaria. The year 2022 celebration has as its theme, harness innovation to reduce the malaria disease burden and save lives. Omoshiliola Adesoyajayi, Osrc News.
Staying with health matters, Ondo State government is set to screen 5,000 women for cervical cancer as part of efforts to eliminate the preventable disease in the state. Flagging off cervical cancer secondary prevention program in Akure, the Ondo State capital, the wife of the governor, Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, said the government is determined that no woman should die of cervical cancer in the state. Government House correspondent Omoriola Ungbeji has details.
Cervical cancer, which is the fourth most common cancer among women globally, is reported to claim 300,000 lives annually, but preventable if detected and treated early. To this end, Ondo State government, with the support of World Health Organization and other stakeholders in the health sector, like BRACON, Primary Healthcare Board, among others, are putting resources together to end cervical cancer in the state. Declaring the event open, wife of Ondo State Governor Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu said the state government is putting necessary efforts to ensure no woman die of cervical cancer in Ondo State. She acknowledged the proactive nature of the government and relevant stakeholders on the conceived idea, advising the participants to assist the government in achieving the desired goal.
To ensure this service reaches all women in the state, the ministry must continue this good work by working in unison with all relevant organizations to ensure effective and efficient delivery of all cervical cancer screening and treatment services
The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Banji Ajaka, declared that Ondo State is one of the leading states fighting cervical cancer in Nigeria, which according to him was made possible through purposeful efforts of Mrs. Anyanwu Akeredolu.
5,000 resident women will benefit from free cervical cancer screening across the state.
Representative of the World Health Organization, Adewale Moses, while commending Ondo State government, maintained that over 500,000 women are currently suffering from the disease, as the vision and plan of the World Bank, in collaboration with state governments, is to eradicate cervical cancer before 2030.
And that is why this is a great achievement. We've partnered with the states, we've been supporting the states, and we can assure you that we'll continue to support the states.
Other stakeholders pledged their commitment by creating greater awareness to save more women from the deadly disease.
As the chairperson of Brighton Ondo State chapter, Brighton, as you all know, as an NGO, we are pledging to key into this program and create awareness to every corner of the state.
It will go a long way to help us so that we can be mothers of our children, so that we will be wives of our husbands for a very long while.
Participants confirmed that the training will go a long way in enriching their knowledge about the disease.
The training will make me to be well informed, first about the cancer itself, especially the cervical cancer.
15 medical doctors are being trained for 3 days, while no fewer than 100 health workers will also receive their training next month. Omoniola Hungbiji, Osrc News.
As part of efforts to add value to cocoa beans production in Nigeria, Springboard Cocoa Farmers Cooperative has launched its chocolate bar with the brand name Tiwa, meaning proudly our own. Founder of Springboard Nigeria, Lawrence Afere, said the target is to make chocolate available to all Nigerians without compromising quality, while also ensuring that farmers derive adequate reward for their task. Zahid Aribisala reports that farmers at Springboard are resilient in placing Nigeria as one of the largest producers of cocoa in the world.
These are cocoa farmers from different rural communities in Ondo State who are members of the Springboard Cooperative. Away from their toiling on the farms, they are here to witness the value addition to cocoa bean derived from their farms, now produced to chocolate. Their homegrown chocolate bar with the brand name Tiwa in local parlance means proudly our own, comes in milk and dark chocolate variant. Different stakeholders in the agric value chain who spotlighted problems facing agriculture in Nigeria challenged the farmers to ensure sustainability of the product with quality cocoa beans.
Export grade. And I'm not pushing you quickly to export. That's not the intention. The intention is that when you have a product that is of export grade, the domestic market doesn't have a choice. It's a challenge to our farmers. That is what we call sustainability. For us to sustain this chocolate, they need quality cocoa. By the grace of God, I challenge you not to rest on your boss, not to rest on Tiwa chocolate alone.
Nations will come to buy Tiwa from a glory in the mighty name of Jesus.
But we are sure everybody knows they are going to take Springboard to places.
The visionary and founder of Springboard Farms Nigeria, makers of Tiwa chocolate bar, Mr. Lawrence Afere, said the target is to flood the Nigerian market with the product.
So we are projecting that this chocolate will be sold across Nigeria. Of course, we are also looking at export, but our first target is Nigerian people. We are keeping the best for Nigerians. This is not the first chocolate to be made in Nigeria, of course, but this is the first chocolate that will be produced by cocoa producers. So this one is owned by cocoa farmers. Once cocoa farmers are able to add value to their cocoa beans, it means that their level of income will increase, so they can make more money. And then once the farmers know that they are turning their cocoa beans into chocolate or other products, that means they will begin to look at quality production.
It is the first time of eating chocolate for some of these cocoa farmers, and the joy is a ginger for them to do more in the area of increasing productivity and improving quality of the cocoa bean.
You are only hearing the radio and television about chocolate, but today, when I came in and I saw the something, and I tasted it, I saw the something is very different, very fantastic.
According to nutritionists, taking chocolate for both young and old helps in brain building, stress management, among others.
I just bought the dark chocolate and I loved it, and I know that the milk chocolate will equally be very good.
Since 2008, Springboard has grown into a network of over 3,000 farmers in rural communities. Among them are over 500 cocoa farmers championing Nigeria's drive to return to the zenith of cocoa production in Africa, placing premium on quality production. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
Let's move to politics. The former chairman of Ondo State Information Technology Agency, Mr. Olumbe Akinkugbe, has intensified his moves to represent Ondo East and Ondo West federal constituency in the House of Representatives ahead of the 2023 elections. Akinkugbe, who held the people of the local government areas spellbound with his declaration to run at the Ondo West APC Secretariat Ondo, pledged to inspire a turnaround in the federal constituency if given the opportunity. Joy Pius, who witnessed the declaration, reports that Mr. Akinkugbe had earlier crisscrossed Ondo East local government area for a similar purpose.
Supporters from Ondo West local government area of Ondo State emerged to drum support for the House of Representatives hopeful, Mr. Olumbe Akinkugbe, declaring his intention at the Ondo West APC Secretariat in Ondo to represent the people of Ondo East and West Federal Constituency. Mr. Akinkugbe said the people of the two local governments need quality representation, which to all intents and purposes he believes he symbolizes. As an ICT expert, the aspirant promised to link the federal constituency to the global village to assess invaluable benefits.
It is well thought out, it is well processed. It is something that actually deals with sustainable empowerment, not just empowerment for the sake of it. We're talking about teaching people how to face, not just giving them face. Gender equity, meaning that women are given the same opportunities as men. STEM education in our schools, so that our kids get used to using computers and have computer literacy. Those are the kind of things that set me apart. One of my mantras, as I've always said, is we do what we say. We are not going to overpromise. We are not going to fail on our promises. We will promise and we will deliver.
Akinkugbe's admirers, who listened to him with rapt attention, expressed conviction in his enviable track records to offer dividends of democracy to match their confidence in him.
Very accessible and is a very cool-headed man. So, with the help of other party members, he's good to go.
He's a graduate, he's a veteran politician, and he's known by everybody in this town, and he's loyal to the cause of Ondo town. So that's what it takes to become a measure.
We are born with him. He's a man of integrity, straightforward. I think is a change that we need in Ondo here.
They called on residents of both local governments not only to rally but to also mobilize support for Mr. Akinkugbe to breast the tape of electoral success so as to solidify the development base of the federal constituency. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
4 land borders which were hitherto closed by the federal government in August 2019 have now been reopened. One of them is Idiroko border post in Ogun State. This is in compliance with the approval of the federal government last Friday that 4 additional land borders be reopened. Others approved by the federal government include the GBI border post in Katsina State, Northwest Zone, Kamba border post in Kebbi State, Northwest Zone, and Ikom border post in Cross River State, South Zone. The federal government in August 2019 had shut land borders in a bid to curtail smuggling and to boost local production. French President